Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Q&A for today. In this one, we're going to lead with giving our thoughts on the tainted meat. And I want to thank YouTube user David Larsen, who asked the question, tainted meat to Negan, with a bunch of question marks, so I decided I would include it. And by the way, new issue Walking Dead today, 160. Review will be posted soon, guys. Just a heads up for that, probably within the next few hours before I start work today. So tainted meat. So, alright, so let's recap. So episode 2, you have the kingdom who gives some swine, some pigs to the saviors, or to a small group of saviors, of new saviors that we haven't seen before, who are making the pickup. So what Richard does, and also the others as well too with Ezekiel there, they have the pigs eat a whole bunch of zombies, which is actually kind of one of the cooler things in the episode, to be honest with you, because we've never seen anything like that before. So they eat it up, they get real full bellies, this kind of thing, and then of course shortly afterwards they're killed and they're brought to Negan's men, to the saviors, to be given to them. So I think this is a really interesting strategy from Richard to kind of poison some of the saviors. Now, the question becomes, do we think it's going to work or not? You guys can write your comments below. Let me know what you think. Do you think it is going to work? Now, I would say this. I would say if it has enough time, if the pigs have been doing it for a little while, like let's say they've been doing it for a while, right? I would say that, they're digesting this garbled meat. They're probably getting sick, and they're it's in their system, it's in their bloodstream, it's in them, maybe a little bit in the tissue, this kind of thing, as they're metabolizing and eating it. Maybe if they only eat it right away, then possibly it could not be metabolized into their body too much if they're killed right afterwards. But if he's been doing this for a little while, which we can imagine he probably has been, I would think that is going to give them some serious issues. So anybody who eats it, I mean, I'm thinking like food poisoning, this kind of deal. Because if you look at the zombies and their meat that the pigs are eating, they're eating, out in the sun, high bacteria, this kind of thing. And then the pigs are ingesting that, then they're being handed over. Even if it's cooked, oh man, a little tricky to say, but I would think that they will at least get sick from it, at the least. I don't think it would necessarily kill them all, or make them turn into zombies, but I would think the bacteria in the pigs from the dead would cause either some kind of very bad food poisoning or something, whoever eats it pretty much, and that it definitely is tainted meat. And I think it's good. I think it'll work too. The only thing I'd be worried about is if the saviors figure out that they all ate the pigs, and that they point it back to the kingdom. And that's why I think Richard is playing this one pretty close to the chest here, because if they do that and a whole bunch of people start getting sick and a whole bunch of saviors start getting bad food poisoning and stuff, and they don't have antibiotics or they don't know what to do, then they could die. Like, you could die from a bacterial infection in the stomach if it gets bad enough, and if you don't get an antibiotic and your body's not able to fight it off fast enough, it can overtake, and then boom, you can actually die from infections like this, right? So man, this one's an interesting one. I can't wait to see what happens, but because I think it's got to make him at least sick a little bit, and some of them maybe die. And then what are the saviors going to do? Are they going to attack? Because are they going to know, or are the people of the kingdom going to be like, oh, I have no idea, this kind of thing. It's a little risky, but maybe it's a better idea than trying to kill them outright, for sure. I'm very excited to see how this whole thing turns out, and if it does in fact make them sick. I can't see how it wouldn't at least give them a stomach ache or something. That's funny. What a troll, that's nice. But if you think about it, what they're doing and forcing them to kind of feed up and give their food to them is pretty bad too. So it's interesting. Write your comments below. What do you guys think? What do you guys make of it? What do you think is going to happen next? And do you think there'll be some retaliation from Negan and the Saviors? Do you think they'll be smart enough to figure it out? That's the big question. We'll have to see. Next one's from Anime Freak 43511, and he says, my roommate seemed too invested in The Walking Dead, but after season 7 premiere, they don't seem to care anymore. They said, we already know who died. There's no point in watching anymore. Nobody cares about this shit anymore. So I wanted to include that because I've seen a lot of that online too. It's the end of one major, setup and major story arc that started in, I want to say like near the mid-season finale for season 6 with Daryl meeting Dwight, and has continued on up until now. So it's kind of the culmination of all that and kind of the resolution. So it's a weird start to a season because they start the season off with a finale, kind of. They start the season off with a climax type of episode, and now we're starting into a new story. So you got to have patience with it too. Not every episode is going to be crazy. You have to have build up. You have to have character development. You have to have everything. As Shreddah said, he said it best. He said, and I actually wrote this down too. Character development episodes are like vegetables. You may not want them, but they're good for you. So I like that. That's a good one, Shredder. That's a good way of putting it. Prick Grimes, I love it. He says Prick Grimes, and I thought of him too. He's got a picture and he's got like sunglasses on. Rick, it's funny. He's in comments. Leave a comment, Prick, so people can see you. And I also laugh when Negan called Rick Prick because I thought of you. That was nice. Trev, have you seen the ratings for episode 2? It was 5 million less than what the episode 1 was. Could it be because people only wanted to see who Negan kills, or is it because of the sports that were on Sunday night, or could it be both? 12 million views is still a ton, but the episode before it had 17 million views. Big decline. If that makes it on Q&A, would be super happy. Well, it did, Prick. So, yeah, this is a tricky one. So it goes down 5 million views, but let's be honest here, that's a special episode, and a lot of people did tune in to see the big, finale of the Negan introduction. So of course people wanted to see that. After that, they were probably like, oh, that's what happened. Maybe they're sad, this kind of thing. The episode ends off on kind of a sour note, so to speak, because of who's killed and with really sad parts at the end. So maybe people are not ready to see the second episode yet, or they're like, okay, I'm going to take a break and that kind of thing. A lot of the episodes get 12 million, but it looks like from ratings alone, from US ratings alone, season 5 is the season to beat. It looks like season 5 is the season that has the highest views consistently and the biggest episode ever in terms of ratings, no Sanctuary. So, surprising, but some people account for that, more DVRing, more, recording and watching later, missing it, watching another time, this kind of deal. So it's kind of hard to call, but it looks like season 5 might be the peak of The Walking Dead permanently. It might be the highest season of The Walking Dead ever. Trev Q&A, and do you prefer McDonald's or Burger King? I like McDonald's fries and chicken nuggets better, but I prefer the Whopper over the Big Mac. What are your thoughts? Ryan Slade. So, good question, Ryan. I included it. I don't know why. I have no idea. People are going to be pissed. They're going to be like, Trev, you didn't include my question, but you included Ryan's question about Big Macs and Burger King. I'm not a big fast food guy. Sometimes you grab it if you're out and about or whatever. But for me, that's tough. I generally say McDonald's probably, but I do think that you're right that the Whopper is probably better than the Big Mac. I think so. Yeah. Torrid says, "Hey Trev, what do you think about what do you think it is about Abraham that prefers Sasha to Rosita? What is the difference in their personalities, or why did he decide to go with Sasha instead of Rosita?" That's a tough one for me, Torrid. You might have to ask Michael Cudlitz or the writing team, but I mean, I don't know, because you'd think any guy would be satisfied with Rosita. You think so? So I have no idea. I don't know why he wouldn't have been. But all I can think of it as, maybe he sees Sasha as like the super badass chick who's awesome with the guns and stuff, and he sees Rosita more as like a pupil, like a student who he taught, and now he's with, but maybe he can't kind of see her as being that strong now, even though she's pretty strong. But you can definitely go with Sasha too, that because she's such a strong survivor and she's been through a lot, and that maybe the two of them hit it off better, or he respects her more. So I don't know, but I always thought it was weird. I always felt like it was kind of like, because it's a comic book thing, they had to include it in the show and they had to make it work somehow, which is fine. But yeah, I always thought it was a little bit weird. But you guys can write your comments below as well. I would just say maybe he respects Sasha more because she's probably a better fighter. She's probably tougher than Rosita. I think we can say that. Joel Humphreys says, Q&A, do you think Negan will try to subjugate Daryl into becoming his accessory, his own Shiva? I think you're right, Joel. I think he is going to try and have Daryl become kind of like a savior rather than letting him go back. We'll see how this all shakes down, though, because there's obviously a lot of events that are going to happen in between that. But we'll see if Daryl ends up having to stay with the Saviors or if he's going to be able to go back to Alexandria. Hopefully we'll be able to see him go back to Alexandria because that'll be fun. But you could definitely see it from Negan's perspective that he might want to keep him there because he's so useful and everything. And yeah, it could be interesting. So we'll see. Billy Lundy said, Richard looks like the governor, David Morrissey. I thought so too the first time I saw him. He does look quite a bit like him. I mean, obviously you can tell the two apart. They don't look exactly alike, but at least to a degree they look somewhat similar. Their hair color, their size, their facial structure. It's a little close. It's not that close, but it's close enough to get confused, I suppose. And then Anthony Tenorio said, and this will be the last one for this one, did you hear that Gimple switched the release of episode 2 and 3? I guess they decided they needed some levity. I didn't hear that, Anthony, but I could definitely see that. Also, there was some confusion about the runtime. Comicbook.com reported on it. It was supposed to be that the episode was supposed to be an extended episode for episode 2. And my apologies to you guys, too. I just read articles, and basically, if I see something from comicbook.com, it should be credible, so I let you guys know based on that. In this case, it wasn't true. It ended up being a regular episode, and I was a little bit disappointed because I was expecting the runtime, and then Talking Dead came on. I'm like, wait, what the hell? So it was weird, but I definitely could see it because he also on Talking Dead kind of explained why they went with the episode, which almost tells me like maybe he's explaining it because that wasn't originally planned or something. Maybe it was supposed to be episode 3. And I can see that. And I think that would actually have fit better, but maybe he just felt like the episode turned out so dark in the premiere that they wanted to have kind of a brighter, fun, more colorful episode. And you're definitely going to get that with Shiva. You're definitely going to get that with Ezekiel and his personality and everybody in the kingdom. So it worked out. It worked out fine. It was definitely a switch, a fast switch. But, excited for the rest of the season. And it will add to the story, of course, the kingdom being a new location. And, they're adding to the world. They're adding to the world of Walking Dead. If you guys like this video today, check back for the review of the comic book series later, and you can thumb this one up, you can share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left, I appreciate it if you subscribe. That's it for this one. See you guys again soon. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.
You better subscribe.